profitable and a fun one for you, no matter how you spent it. A lot of sports coming up this week. College football week 0 is here. To all the major college football fans out there, congratulations. You made it through the offseason. For us NFL fans, we have a few weeks more. But that said, we've made it to the best part of the year, everybody. We made it to football season. Congratulations. Have yourself a beer. Have yourself a drink. You did it. I know you put in the hard work, so congratulations. Welcome into the show. I know it is football week here at Butt Fumble Sports and across the sports world, but baseball will have a majority of our attention today. We do have games to dive into, research to do, player prop bets, game picks, total plays, everything that you guys need. We are going to let you guys drive the show. So it's a welcome back Monday with you guys asking the questions. Actually, I need to change something here. I need to change something on TikTok because I believe we have it as subscriber only, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be for everybody. So hold off. One moment. Oh, no, it's off. Good. Good. No, everyone's in. Tristan Grover, great to see you. Your comment let me know we were good to go. So, we are going to answer questions. Reese Roll, what's good with you? Hope everyone's doing well. If you have a question, hit us up across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and X. We are even on Twitter, X. We are live on that platform as well. So hit us up no matter the platform you're watching in. And of course, hit that like button, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. Yes, we will do another subscriber-only show later tonight. So make sure, if you have fantasy football questions, that's a good place to go. So make sure you subscribe, but hit that like button throughout the course of the show. We are going to get into our picks and research. So if you guys have questions, fire away with those. We do have some fantasy questions to get us started. Tristan, how's my 10-man full PPR? AR5, James Cook, K9, Jefferson, St. Brown. You have a weaker running back room. You are overloaded at the wide receiver position. I would trade Justin Jefferson, and I try to upgrade at the running back position. Jordan, over on Instagram, did my snake draft yesterday as a 9th out of 12. My top picks were Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Nico Collins, and Debo. Love the running backs. Don't really like the wide receivers that much, to be honest. Drafting tonight, do you like Malik Neighbors, Ridley, or Zay Flowers? Out of that group, I actually probably like Flowers the most. Neighbors could put up the most yardage, but I don't trust him week to week with Daniel Jones. Zay Flowers will be the most consistent. That's why I would probably recommend him, Ephraim. Chris, Keeper League, CD lose a late second, or Jahmyr Gibbs lose a 5th. Oh, keep CD Lamb. Keep CD Lamb. Jonathan, I'm in a jam. Taysom Hill, Noah Fant, Sinat. I'd probably keep Taysom Hill, believe it or not. He's probably the one that I'd ultimately end up going with. Mr. Seju, thoughts on taking Bijan or St. Brown at 7th? I really like both of them. I think both are getting great value at the 7th spot. I'd probably lean towards the running back just slightly more. So I'd go Bijan, but you can make an argument for both. So I think either way you're good. Thanks for the question over on YouTube. Appreciate that. How do you feel about Pacheco? Love him. Really like him. If you are someone who's drafting a wide receiver in the first round, Pacheco is a really good running back to get in the second round. So if you're drafting 1, 2, 3, 4 in that first round, and you're going CeeDee Lamb, Hill, Chase, Jefferson, getting Pacheco in the second round, really smart move. Question coming in from Twitch, Benson3589. What do you think about drafting Xavier Worthy from the Chiefs? Love it. And I think the injury to Hollywood Brown only increases his value, so really like it there. If you have a question about our MLB picks for today, make sure you let us know. Diamondbacks seem to cool down. Marlins might win. Reese Roll has a question about that. So let's do our quick research on that game. We're going to focus on the Marlins and Diamondbacks game. Couple of things we're going to look at, and then we'll get back to other questions, but of course we want to answer questions that you guys are asking about. Diamondbacks, they are an away favorite and a heavy away favorite. First game of a series as an away favorite so far this year. They're just 1-7 on the run line, so be very wary. Diamondbacks 1-7 on the run line as an away favorite in the first game of a series. When they have a line of -200 or more, The line right now I'm seeing is minus 210. They are 9-0. The Diamondbacks are 9-0 when they're a minus 200 or more. So I'm kind of split on this one. I would take Diamondbacks on the money line. I would take the Marlins at plus 1.5. That really speaks to those two trends we just looked at a moment ago. Diamondbacks 9-0, 9-0 when they have a line of minus 200 or more. The line I'm seeing is minus 210. Really quick, let's jump over to Outlier and see where the line is according to that. Right now, it's still minus 205. That's the lowest one, so this trend is still alive. I like the Diamondbacks on the money line. I would take the Marlins to cover, though. So I think the over is going to hit as well. Over's been a very popular play. I mentioned this one a bit on the SHARPZ app. I put this one up on the SHARPZ app earlier. Diamondbacks, Marlins. I would also take the over. Take the over 8. So a couple of picks to get you started. Reese Roll, thanks so much for the question. Let's get back to some other questions across the various channels we've got going on right now. M Made 408. Thoughts on my 10-man PPR squad? Dak, St. Brown, Wilson, Waddle, Cook, White, and Laporta. Really like the team. You're a little bit loaded on the Lions, but don't mind that with Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Both are going to have spectacular years. I think it's a really solid team. I'd probably lean towards a B+ because I don't love the running backs. K. Klein, is there an app for free where they show the percentages of people on each team? Kyle Klein, I'm confused. Is there an app for free where they show the percentages of people on each team? Explain what you mean. Percentages of people on each team. I don't understand that part. Alex, is Cooper Kupp a third rounder? I don't think so. I think he's better as a fourth rounder, personally. I think he's being drafted a little bit too high for my liking. Mr. Seiju, take Etienne or aka Alvin Kamara in the second round. I'd go Etienne in the second round. Scotty Rocks, thoughts on DK? Not sure how I feel about him. I like him. Contract year. I think we've seen that Geno Smith is serviceable enough. They rely on him. He's durable. I actually like DK Metcalf. I've been drafting him in a number of leagues, especially because he seems to fall. I think people overlook him. Maybe it's because of Geno Smith, but frankly, of all the bad quarterback situations in this league, I actually don't think it's that bad. You think Tony Pollard is going to be good? I think he's going to fall off. I think he'll be serviceable for the Titans, but I personally avoid him. Would you take Tua and a round 7 pick for Daniels? Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to have a good year. When you take Tua, I don't believe in Daniels enough. I would rather have Tua in the 7th round pick, I think. That's where I would probably go. So you want me to take London and DK over Kupp? That's what I would do, Alex. That's where I come out on it. I need a league. Any openings? Yeah, let's do a league. How about that? We will get a league started today. If you guys want to do a rival fantasy league with me today, we will get one started right now, so I'm willing to do that. We'll do sports betting questions as they come in. We're kind of all over the place in terms of what you guys want to do, but I'm willing to do a new league. So we're going to make this an 8-man league. We're going to make it a really quick one too. BFS 16. The thing about this league, it's going to be a 15 seconds per pick, so it's going to be really fast. 8-man league, 15 seconds per pick, $0 buy-in, and it is going to be a PPR. So if you want to get in on this league, DM me on Instagram, ButtFumble Sports. DM me on Instagram if you want to participate in this league. So DM me on Instagram if you want to be a part of it, Vismar. Ayuk, Neighbors, or Ridley for week 1? Interesting question. I actually want to pull up something really quick. I've got the schedule. I put in some notes for each game each week, and I want to pull that up on my other laptop. So for week 1, you were asking about Brandon Ayuk. They play the Jets. Don't like Ayuk week 1. Malik Neighbors and the Giants play the Vikings. I like that, not as much as I did a couple days ago before Gilmore joined, but I actually like Malik Neighbors there. Calvin Ridley with the Tennessee Titans. Titans play the Chicago Bears. Out of that group, I actually probably like Neighbors the most week 1. He could actually get off to a fast start. I probably like Neighbors 1, Ridley 2, Ayuk 3. I think the Jets defense is going to be ready for the 49ers when week 1 kicks off. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the show. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time that we're live. We're live almost every single day, and really this time of year, we're going to be live multiple times a day. We're going to do a show during the week at 4:30 every day, weekdays at 4:30. The weekends, we're usually going to be on at about 10:30 each morning prior to college football and the NFL. And of course, as CL resubscribes, thank you, CL, we will do subscriber-only shows at night, usually around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We'll do subscriber-only shows on TikTok. If you guys want to participate in any of our content, any of the shows, we love having you guys be a member of this amazing community. So get in on the action, follow, subscribe, do all those things you're supposed to do. Okay, great. Let's get to some more questions before we do this draft. Swift or Montgomery? Great question. Rolfin, I'm actually going to lean towards Swift a little bit more. I know Montgomery has some value when Jahmyr Gibbs is banged up. Maybe even a good player to have even when Jahmyr Gibbs is on the field. But Swift is the RB1 on that squad, and I feel good about it. CL, great to have you back. Where do I sign up for your picks? Mason, DM me on Instagram. DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks for free, so DM me on Instagram there. Austin, great to see you. Hope you're having a great day. This fantasy league's filling up so far. We have 3 spots filled, 5 spots to go if you want to participate in it. Assuming the first 3 in a PPR are CMC, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyreek Hill, who should I take it for? Jacob Holland? I would go with Breece Hall. Jacob Holland, I'd go Breece Hall. Appreciate the question. What's your thought on the Reds? On the Reds and Jays game? Reese Roll, interesting. I didn't bet that game. I'm kind of on the fence about it. So, if I went in one direction, I think I would take the Reds to cover, but I didn't bet that game, actually. It wasn't one that I looked at. Really quick, let's jump on over to it. Reds, an away favorite. An away dog. First game of a series. This is for the Reds. First game of a series. Still haven't announced their pitcher according to this. Reds are 10-3 on the run line under this scenario. Away favorite, first game of a series. And I just want to see when the opponent doesn't have a winning record under that scenario. Interesting. Really interesting. I actually thought that the way I cut this data would actually support the Reds. When they've actually faced a team with a winning record as an away dog first game of a series, they're undefeated. If I have my numbers right, they're 5-1. But when they face a team with a losing record, like they do tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays, 4-2 on the run line. 3 of their 6 losses, though. Interesting. So again, I'm going to take Reds plus 1.5, but Blue Jays on the money line might have some validity to it. Keep your eyes on it. Really quick, Blue Jays is a home favorite. First game of a series, 7-7 straight up, 5-9 on the run line. They have won 2 of their last, 6 games under this scenario. They're starting a righty on the mound. Breaking down the data further, they're 5-6 starting a righty, first game of a series. I'm just going to see when they're at home and they're a favorite of minus 175 or more. 6-2 straight up, 5-3 on the run line. They've actually won 3 in a row under this scenario. When they start a right-handed pitcher, they're 6-1 when they have a minus 170 run line. So I'd say Blue Jays on the money line, Reds on the cover, but I'm not going to touch this game. Just don't have a great vibe on it. Who's your top 4 tight ends this season? Luke, my top 4 tight ends. Travis Kelce, goes without saying at this point. Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta. Those 3 in no particular order. Frankly, all 4 in no particular order. But those are my top 4 tight ends in fantasy football. Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Dalton Kincaid, and who I mentioned, Trey McBride. Orioles on the money line. Jose. Be very, very wary of this game. Be very wary of this game. And the reason I say that is there are a couple things I don't like, and it comes from the starter side of things. So we're doing our baseball betting research right now, looking at the trends. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for the Orioles. And interestingly enough, obviously, he has a history against the Mets because he was a pitcher formerly with the Miami Marlins. So in his career facing the New York Mets, he's just 4-6 straight up. By the way, the under is 7-2, but when he's pitched against the Mets in New York at Citi Field, he's lost 4 straight games. Now, obviously, you say that's with the Orioles, much different. Now he's with the Orioles, rather, much different story. Well, let's look at it from the other side. David Peterson is on the mound for the Mets in his career, going up against the Orioles. 2 games, 2 losses, 10-3, 10-3, and 2 losses against them, both times the over hit. But let's take a look at it when he's been a home favorite this year. David Peterson, when he's been a home favorite this season. Oops. 3-1 straight up when he's been a favorite regardless of location. 8-2 straight up. His only 2 losses came to the Angels, came to the Braves. Both of those, I believe, were day games. So when David Peterson has pitched in a favorite in a night game, he is 5-1 straight up, 5-1 on the run line. The one thing that does stand out is the over's been a very good play. Overs hit consistently. I like the Mets on the money line in this one. Mets on the money line. You could talk me also into the over. Orioles, Mets. I would take the over 8, over 8.5, depending on where you see the line. Orioles, Mets, 8.5. I would take it. I would take the over 8.5, but I'm riding with David Peterson tonight, even though I know some people are going to go against it. A couple of players I do want to call out. Adley Rutschman. He is raked against left-handed pitching this year. Love him. J.D. Martinez. Really good numbers against Trevor Rogers. Keep your eye on him. And I have one more for you that I wanted to call out. I'm blanking on the name at the moment. Hold on one second. I'll bring it up right now. Orioles, Mets. Oh, it's Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos has raked against left-handed pitching this year. Great numbers against the starting pitcher. Everything you'd want. So we like the Mets on the money line. I also like the over. Adley Rutschman, J.D. Martinez, Mark Vientos are some players that I like. By the way, we are still got our draft order set. We are ready to draft, everyone. We filled up the draft. Forgive me for holding off on that. We will start the draft at 4:55, everybody. 4:55 to start the draft. It's going to be 15 seconds per pick, so it's going to move very quickly, everyone. So make sure you're ready to go. We're going to do this very fast. Draft order has been randomized. I'm still the first overall pick. So, interesting. I don't really like being first overall, but being first overall in an 8-man league is probably the best scenario because the wait between round 1 and round 2 pick isn't as bad as it could be. Scotty Rocks, thoughts on Derrick Henry? If Derrick Henry is your second running back, I really like it. If you're relying on him to be your RB1, I'm worried because of age, just because of the defenses he's going to be facing in the AFC North. This isn't as simple a situation as it was in Tennessee. I think there's actually some reasons to fade Derrick Henry a little bit, but if he's your second running back, I think he'll put up better numbers than the traditional second running back, so no problem. Frayne, Kyren Williams, or Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd go Kyren Williams. I know Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to be fine from the hamstring, but I'm just worried enough. And also David Montgomery cutting into his opportunities. I'd go Kyren Williams. Howie Biden, sorry you missed out. It filled up fast. Are you posting pics to Instagram today? Reese Roll, hit me up. All my pics are on SHARPZ. They're on SHARPZ every day. Mariners, Dodgers. We'll study that game once we finish the fantasy football draft. So Alessio, I will get to. Dimitrik, I will get to that game. Forgive me. We will get to it, but after the draft. Gus Edwards, Robinson Jr. Alessio, I'd go Robinson Jr. I actually think he's going to be a better play. Would you trade Josh Allen and Rico Dowdle for Hurts and Stevenson? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Henry or Mixon? I'd probably go Derrick Henry. It's very close, but I'd lean towards Derrick Henry just a little bit. Luke, do you think Kyren will be a good pick again or not as good? Blake Corum is being talked about too much. As long as Kyren Williams stays healthy, he's going to have a really good year. Saquon Barkley, thoughts, second round. Yep, second round pick. Really like him. Good offensive line. I'm not worried about the tush push taking too much away from his red zone production, so I'm very high on Saquon Barkley as well. Daniel O'Shea at 4:55 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to start this draft. That's in about 30 seconds. So this 8-man PPR league is going to start in 30 seconds. So Daniel O'Shea, Get yourself ready. We're starting in 15 seconds, buddy. 15 seconds. How about Houston? That Steelers defense looking really good. I really like the Steelers defense this year. By the way, look out for Houston. I think Houston could be a decent defense. What order of position do you aim for when drafting? Well, personally, I love auction drafts, but when in a snake, I like to draft around 3 or 4 if I'm early, 8 if I'm late. We're going to start this draft right now. So if you're in this draft, get ready. We're going to start the draft in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draft is underway. This is a season-long league. I'm going to surprise some folks. I'm going to take Breece Hall first overall. Breece Hall first overall. I'm going to shock some folks. Carter Newman took Christian McCaffrey, throwing people for a loop. Bijan splitting carries. I don't think he's going to split carries 50-50. He certainly won't split snaps, and I actually think that's what's most important. He may even split carries. I'll even say that. I don't think it will. I think it'll still be 70-30, 60-40. But what I really like is the idea that he is going to have more snaps because he is going to get a lot of opportunities in the passing game. That's why one of the reasons I really like Bijan. What's Sharp? T-Man, SHARPZ is an app that sponsors our show. It's like a bulletin board for sports betting, so every bet that I make automatically gets posted there so you can find it every day. Albert, I don't know. I don't really look for the back end. I know we're butt fumble sports, but we don't check things out that way. TJ Watt gonna ball this year. Reese Roll, TJ Watt balls every year as long as he stays healthy. Steelers defense is so good. So good. First round, only 3 running backs were taken. Second round, we've already had 5 running backs taken. I have the chance to double up because I'm first overall. Only the 15 seconds to go. Pacheco's going to be my next pick. Then I'll go wide receiver. I get the opportunity to take Marvin Harrison Jr. to start the 3rd round. That's what I'm going to do. So my first 3 picks are Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Love the squad I've got early on. Baker Mayfield going to ball again. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a really good year, but for his standards, I think overall across the league, I think he'll regress a little bit. What do you think of Olave? I'm big on Olave. I think he's one of the more talented and one of the more overlooked wide receivers in the NFL. Robbie, JJ, St. Brown, Kyron, Henry, B. Hall, Jordan Love, Kincaid, 49ers defense. It feels strong to you. It looks strong to me. Looks like a great team. Nicely done. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the show. Jaron, and is this the year Gabe Davis finally makes a name for himself? No, I don't think so. I actually think it might be the year that Brian Thomas makes a name for himself. Shh, don't let the rumor get out, though. Don't let it get out that Brian Thomas of the Jaguars is going to be a stud. First tight end off the board in this draft is Sam Laporta. Really interesting. I'm seeing this more and more. People are starting to come down from the assumption that Travis Kelce is just the automatic tight end 1, and Sam Laporta is starting to enter that conversation. Makes a lot of sense to me. Really, really like the pick there from Daniel O'Shea. I think it's probably too early, but I actually like you going with Sam Laporta over Travis Kelce. Okay, I'm next to pick. I'm taking DK Metcalf. I talked about him a moment ago. I have the chance now to double up on running back or on wide receiver. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift. A lot of my drafts are feeling, frankly, actually, I can get Travis Kelce to start the 5th round. Oh, it's a 15-second clock, so it automatically took Josh Allen for me. That's too bad. I talked too much. I made too little picks, but it's okay. Thoughts on CeeDee Lamb? He should be the first wide receiver off the board. Lions offense goated, 100%. Great offense. Any good words on Justin Fields? He's incredibly athletic. That's what I would say. He's incredibly athletic. But I'm actually really disappointed with what I've seen from Justin Fields. Because to me, Justin Fields needs to learn QB fundamentals in the NFL. And like the number one thing I feel about rookie quarterbacks or early stage quarterbacks is I don't need you to be spectacular. This is what everyone gets wrong. Everyone always wants to see spectacular. They want to see Caleb Williams go off his like wrong foot and throw across his body and make these spectacular throws. I don't want to see that. I want to see fundamentals. I want to see like, can you throw that little dink down pass to the running back so you never get a sack? so that you're always gaining like 3 to 5 yards every play. That's what I like to see. Now, what's nice is these rookie quarterbacks are actually showing that quality for the most part. But overall, I think that's where Justin Fields, who's supposed to be a veteran at this point, that's what he needs to improve on. Handle the snap, get the ball out quickly. That's what you need to be kind of owning right now, and he's not doing a good enough job. Did Garrett Wilson go in the first round of this league? No, he didn't. But he hasn't been going in the first round of most leagues. He's going second round in almost every league I've seen. CD is not even playing his contract. He's not a top 5 pick at all. That's a risky... Be more, I think that's like incredibly short-sighted. I'm a very big believer that he's going to be on the field when it matters. So as much as people are trying to sell me on the notion of him like not playing or him being out or whatever it may be, it's simply just not the case. It's not the case. So he's going to play. Maybe he sits out week 1. Week 1's against the Browns. That's a bad matchup for him anyways. But I would not worry about the contract situation. There are certain narratives that football fans like gorge themselves on in August and frankly fart out in September. This is one of them. New upstart running backs potentially taking starting jobs. Blake Corum is an example of it. That he's one. But another narrative is like, do you think this contract is... No, CeeDee Lamb isn't going to risk millions of dollars this year for a holdout. He's pushing the envelope. He has leverage for a very defined period of time. The CBA really puts the owners in a position of authority when it comes to players getting on the field in the regular season. Coop 5 Mac, Joe Mixon or Aaron Jones? Great question. I'd go Joe Mixon a little bit. I'd go Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, just slightly a better play. Just barely. Very close, though. Man, tight ends came off the board fast in this league. There was a run on tight end in round 6 and round 7. I am surprised by it. I'll take Ingram. I already have my quarterback. I'll take Zay Flowers. Pretty solid team. So far, my team is Josh Allen, Breece Hall, and Isaiah Pacheco, Marvin Harrison Jr. and DK Metcalf. Evan Ingram's my tight end. I have DJ Moore in the flex, and I have DeAndre Swift and Zay Flowers as my bench. Pretty solid. How do you feel about Love as a QB1? I like him, just don't draft him too early. You can wait on him. He's got good value, but wait on him. He's not worth a pick before round, I would say, 10. Jordan, if my running backs are good, but my wide receivers are Breece Hall, Debo, Keenan Allen, Hollywood Brown, would you try to pair any of them for a trade? Yeah, I'd pair 2 of them. I'd pair Nico Collins and Debo and try to upgrade to one top wide receiver. Hollywood Brown's value isn't there because he's hurt. I actually think he's worth holding on to. Keenan Allen, I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to be the odd man out. I think he's worth holding on to. So the guys who have value right now on your squad that you could trade away at the wide receiver position are Nico Collins, Debo Samuel. I would certainly consider making the move on that. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the show, having some fun with you guys, those that are drafting in this league. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. I hope you're having a lot of fun. Just picked Xavier Worthy as another backup wide receiver. Gianni, CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill? I'd go CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb for me. That's where I'm coming out on this one. Looking over on YouTube, D. Graham, how's my 10-man PPR? Allen, Lamb, Evans, Kyron, Walker, Pitts, Cooper. Love it, D. Graham. It's a B+, it's an A-. It's somewhere in that group. Right around that number. Right around that number. Pretty solid, though. Really like it. Question coming in from Twitch. Coop 5 Mac, oh, you're on both. Ford, Jones, or Mixon? It's going to be Mixon for me. Coop 5 Mac, it's Mixon for me. John, I think Laporta is going to be the best tight end this year. Yep. Kyle Klein, Mets, first 5 innings, love it. Kyle Klein, love the pick. Love the pick of the Mets at plus, half a run in the first 5 innings. I think that's right. Ali Garcia, how do you think CD playing for the Cowboys week 1? So I think he's going to play, but even if he plays, he's not going to have a great week. This is the thing I want to make sure you guys hear. I like drafting CeeDee Lamb. I like drafting him early. I think even if he plays week 1, it won't be a great week of production against the Cleveland Browns defense. Doesn't bother me. I'm getting the rest of the season's worth of value from him. So I'm not going to stress it. I would recommend you guys don't either. Christian McCaffrey injury updates. Would you take him number 1 overall? At this point, I don't think I would actually. I think I'd go in a different direction. Hope you guys are loving the content and loving the show. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time that we're live. We do subscriber-only shows, usually at about 10 o'clock each night. Those are where we answer fantasy questions, like painstakingly slow for each one of you. So if you guys have questions and you're like, I want personal attention, subscribe on TikTok. Join us at 10 p.m. each weeknight, and we'll help you build your fantasy team. A lot of personal advice, and it'll be throughout the year. Ravens week 1 money line. Stefan, a lot of people are throwing money on it. Personally, I love the Ravens at plus 3.5 on week 1. Who do I pick at pick 1.06? I'd love if you could get Breece Hall. I would take Bijan if Breece Hall isn't there. Rate my 12-man, CMC, Etienne, Evans, Moore, K9, and Njoku. Really solid squad, Logan, at least from a starter position. I'd give that team an A-, maybe a B+, but it's a very good team. Really like what you built. Like the fact that K9 is your third running back. I think that's really good. Any concern on the CD contract? No. I've mentioned this to you guys quite frequently. I think there are certain narratives that are overblown in the NFL. Salary cap. Salary cap is overblown. Teams can manipulate salary cap. They can do things to get under the salary cap. Contract disputes. Contract disputes are overblown. Why are they overblown? Because players got to get paid. The NFL does not allow the kind of financial independence and leverage to be in the hands of the players. So don't worry, everybody. Don't worry. CeeDee Lamb, if he misses week 1, I would be surprised. But even there, I think he's probably going to end up on the field either way. So I wouldn't be stressing it. Do you think Deontay Johnson will return to form in Carolina? No, I don't. I think he's going to be the number 1. I think he's going to get plenty of targets. But return to form, that's a bad offense. I think he's going to get a lot of targets, but I don't know if he's going to return to form. Lawrence, do you like Jaden Daniels? I really do. Probably as a second quarterback on the roster, someone to swap in and out depending on bye weeks and matchups and everything else. But Jaden Daniels was named Commander starting quarterback today. Right decision. I think he's going to perform really well. You know who really benefits from it? Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin really benefits. Thanks, guys, for being a part of this 8-man draft. We just wrapped that up. We have drafted 16 leagues so far this year. Having a lot of fun with you guys. Now, I promised someone that I would do some sports betting research, so we'll get back to fantasy football talk in 1 second. But before we do, I promised we would talk a little bit of Mariners, Dodgers. We're going to talk about that matchup really quick. Looking at the Dodgers, they're coming off a win. When they're coming off a road win in the previous game, and they are a home favorite, they're 2-2 straight up. Under slightly better. Interesting there that the under slightly better. The line's at 8. When they're a home favorite and the total is 8 or less, Dodgers are 14-4. The Dodgers are 14-4 straight up when they're a home favorite and the total is 8 runs or less. Let's dive into that. Can we drill down on that even more? One of those losses was to a left-handed pitcher. They're facing a right-handed pitcher tonight in Brian Wu. When the Dodgers are a home favorite against a right-handed starter and the total is 8 runs or less, the Dodgers are 12-1 straight up. They are 11-2 on the run line. Ring, ring, ring. Alarm bells should be going off. This is a phenomenal trend. Dodgers on the money line. It would be just the second time this year under this scenario they would lose. If you bet $100 on this every time, you'd be up $960. If you bet against it, you'd be down $1,015. I'm going to ride with it. I understand Bryan Woo's the better starting pitcher. Really quick before we put it on the board and give it finality, when Bryan Woo pitches as an away dog in his career, the over, by the way, 2-0 when Bryan Woo pitches as an away dog. He's 1-1. He's only pitched as a dog. Oh, that's this season. How about in his career? When Bryan Woo has pitched as an away dog in his career, 4-4 straight up. Not as good. Bryan Woo's a really good pitcher for the Mariners. If you don't know, you should. 4-4 straight up for him. Not a great look. Away dog. And let's say when the total is less than or equal to 8, just the scenario we looked at before. 3-2 straight up. 4-1 on the run line. Overs 3, 1-1. Real quick, I just want to see when he's pitched with the total, 8 runs or less regardless of location. 17-7, so the difference really has been location here. Away has been his Achilles. He's lost 4 of his last 5 starts on the road with a total of 8 or less. Last thing I want to look at, the line is 120 for him. When the line's been greater than or equal to 120 in any of his starts, 4-3 straight up, 5-2 on the run line. When that's come, those have all come on the road. And they've all come with a total of 8 or less except for 1. So he's 3-3 straight up. I'm taking Dodgers on the money line. Based on the trends, everyone, Dodgers on the money line. You can follow, you can fade. It's entirely up to you. Our picks are not right every time. Our picks are based on trends. We just try to find the best trends possible. And frankly, a 12-1 trend, we're going to ride with that one. So we're taking Dodgers on the money line, everybody. Dodgers on the money line as this just kicked me out. So give me one quick second. Oh my God. I freaking hate that Google just did this to me. There we go. Google being stupid. Okay, let's get back to some questions. Jace, Achan or Cup as a flex play? I'd probably go Cooper Cup in that scenario. Paul Williams, appreciate it. OG's asking for a home run play tonight. A home run play. Look, JD Martinez is a pretty solid matchup play. I mentioned JD Martinez earlier today. Now, I'm not going to say anything about a home run, but he's going up against Trevor Rogers. Doesn't have a home run in his career, but he's hitting .429 in 7 at-bats. That said, Pete Alonso, 2 home runs against Trevor Rogers in his career, though he's only hitting .150, so Alonso's very much a boom or bust. But JD Martinez, kind of an interesting play. When's the last time he hit a home run? It's been a minute. He hasn't hit a home run since August 3rd. It's been a minute. So frankly, he's really due. Against left-handed pitching, his last home run. His last home run against the left-handed pitcher was July 1st. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. JD Martinez is due from being due to hit a home run. Another player that I really like tonight to hit a home run or could hit a home run, Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill has absolutely dominated UC Kikuchi. In his career, Tyler O'Neill, 2 at-bats against UC Kikuchi, 2 hits, both solo home runs. Tyler O'Neill, put him on the board, get him where you can. Tyler O'Neill, okay? Tyler O'Neill is one of our favorite plays of the day. Make sure that you're on that one. Make sure you're with that. By the way, just to touch on that game for a moment, Red Sox, they're an away dog. They're coming off an away loss. When that's been the case, they're 7-5 straight up. They're 9-3 on the run line. Red Sox are 9-3 on the run line when they're an away dog coming off an away loss, when they're in the first game of a series as they are today. Wow, interesting. Actually hasn't. First scenario, it's been like that. After an away loss, first game of a series, Red Sox are 1-5 straight up, 1-5 on the run line. After an away loss, first game of a series. Most of those games, though, have been at home. Only one of those games on the road. When they're an underdog after an away loss, 8-5 straight up, 10-3 on the run line. Some really interesting trends. I would just recommend check out the offense in this one. Over might be a strong play. O's under 5.5. I didn't bet that game's total. Actually, yeah, I didn't bet it, but we actually do have it on the big board. We took the over. We did take the over. Oh, we're getting a call. Someone wants to join the show as a guest. Let's see. George wants to join the show. Let's see what George wants to talk about.
Hey, good to talk to you again. I'm glad it's football season. I was a big caller last year. Through the season, you helped me a lot.
Great, George, great to see you again. Welcome back.
Good. I have a question. This year, I'm in a quarterback league, and I've never been in one before. How do you advise drafting in one of those leagues?
Frankly, I'm not a great expert on this, and I'll call myself out. I'm not in those leagues because I think they're stupid, and I'm not being a jerk, but they're just not leagues that I've been attracted to, so I haven't been in them. How would I approach it? I'd probably keep a pretty similar strategy. Make sure you study the scoring. The way to treat those leagues, if I were to be in one, is I would study where is the majority of scoring coming from. The quarterbacks. Are passing touchdowns worth as much as rushing touchdowns? Normally they're not. Normally rushing touchdowns are worth more. So with that in mind, because they treat it almost like a running back. That in mind, value running quarterbacks more. Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Value those guys a little bit more in a 2-quarterback league.
Okay. All right. That's all I need to know. Thanks a lot. I'll probably call you out my traditional standard leagues through the season.
I look forward to it, George. Have a great afternoon.
All right. You too. Thanks.
If you guys want to join the show as a guest, feel free to do so. Butt Fumble Sports live on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, X, across all these platforms. But if you want to join, Twitter is the best place to hit us up. Could we rate the draft we just did? Alessio, I'm not gonna actually do that. No, I'm not. Sorry. You heard, I want Tyreek, but also want a good second-round pick. Well, if you're going to do that, I think Pacheco's a really good second-round pick for you. If Kyren Williams or Saquon Barkley were to fall, it's all about if Tyreek Hill falls to where you want. I think there's good value on Tyreek Hill if he falls, and then you get a good second player in the next round. Joe, Houston money line, or is the pitching just not there tonight? I'm a little bit worried for Houston. I didn't bet this one. I could see Houston winning and the Red Sox covering. There were trends that kind of backed both sides. I just liked offense. I just thought there were going to be a lot of runs. Chase or St. Brown in a half PPR. I'm going St. Brown, believe it or not. Hey, man, I draft Sunday. Where should I draft? I get to pick my position in a 12-man. I would say 4 or 8. 4 or 8. In the 12-man, 8's a pretty good spot, but I think 4 is probably what I'd lean towards. Brian, Dynasty PPR, would you trade Puka for Etienne and Dobbs? Yes, I would, actually. Yes, I would. T. Higgins or Diggs? Great question. I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards... Wow. That's a good question. I'm going to lean towards T. Higgins, I think. I think he's just going to get more targets. I think it's close, but I do think he gets more targets. Spencer, for the 5th pick, what's your ranking for Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Chase, and Jefferson? I'd go in that order. St. Brown, Chase, Jefferson. In that order, yep. Coop 5 Mac, I'd go Pickens, Mixon. Pickens and Mixon. Coop 5 Mac, Pickens, and Mixon. Appreciate all you guys watching the show. Hope you're loving the content, the conversation. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time that we're live. I love talking sports with you guys. I hope you enjoy it every single day that we do it. So make sure you follow. We will do subscriber-only shows for those on TikTok. Those are usually at about 10 o'clock at night. That's a lot of personal attention. That's where we help you set your lineup, trades, waiver wire. It's not so much rapid fire. It's much more conversational, and we really take each person through their picks. But obviously, more time, more attention, all of that. So yeah, make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Wonderful to have you guys with us, whatever platform you're on. I got Gibbs and Wilson from the 12 spot. Is that solid? User 45? Yes, it is. Trot Nixon's following. By the way, Trot Nixon, great right fielder for the Red Sox there for a while. Alex, I have the 8th pick in the 12-man PPR. Who are you looking to draft in round 1 and round 2? Bijan Robinson and Kyren Williams would be ideal. Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley would be great. If you wanted to take a wide receiver, Garrett Wilson would be a great one to get. If you were looking for a wide receiver in the 8th pick, I would probably take Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I'd probably go running back. You guys know how I tend to feel about these things. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Hope you're loving the content. KBFR, I got 4th pick in an 11-man. Who should my first pick be? Breece Hall, Breece Hall, Breece Hall. Daniel Berg, I got Gibbs and Curtis Samuel for Godwin and Kyron. Good or bad? I'd rather have Godwin and Kyron Williams, I think. Thoughts on Kamara? I think he's finally being overlooked. I don't think he's a great RB. He's not a good RB1. He may be a better RB2 than people may think. Where he has a lot of value is a really good flex play or someone who can sub in for bye weeks. Just Joe Bro. Super flex in a 10-team league. I got 9th pick. Who you going with? I never take QB in the first round. Why would you take a QB in the first round? I don't understand Superflex leagues. I think they're stupid. I really do. I'm going to totally take a shit on them. Why would I play something that doesn't... We don't play with 2 quarterbacks. Like, I don't understand it. It's just an excuse to get more players involved in a starting lineup. And on one level, I get that. On another level, it's just like... We are truly playing fantasy football. Like, there's no relationship to things. I'm playing 2 quarterbacks at once. Then just call it rotisserie football. It's a different thing. You're just buying players and collecting points. It's a different game. Alessio, my wide receivers are J.J. Collins, Waddle, Pickens, and Neighbors. What do you think? It's really good in brand name. I actually think a lot of them have issues. Waddle's a wide receiver too. Pickens has a QB issue. Neighbors has a QB issue. J.J. has a QB issue. Collins has got a lot of mouths to feed. So funny enough, I think you've got 5 good wide receivers, but 5 with question marks around them. Draft Pickens or Amari Cooper. Interesting. I personally would probably say Amari Cooper. I know Pickens is going to be the sexier play, but I think Amari Cooper has proven his consistency over the last few years. Amari Cooper is like drafting Mike Evans. It's just a pick for it's solid, sustaining play. Very level play. So I kind of like it there. Cole, Puma or Cup? Puka or Cup? I probably lean just slightly towards Puka, though injuries have me worried. Najee or Devin Singletary? I'd go Devin Singletary, believe it or not, just because he's not splitting touches with Jalen Warren like Najee is. Thoughts on Devontae Tyler? Hate that Gardner Minshew is the quarterback. Just a bad look. Alessio, I love getting Hall in the second round. J23A, rate the 10-man league. Kyler, Gibbs, Cook, Jefferson, Kupp, and McBride. Little overloaded on the Arizona offense. Not crazy about that. I'll give it a B, borderline B+, but I think it's more of a B. Too much Arizona for me. John, thanks so much for the gift. Who do I draft first overall? I'm leaning more and more towards either CeeDee Lamb or Breece Hall, depending on which position you want first. Sam Mancini, rate my 8-man. I'm not seeing the 8-man, so you're going to have to write it out, Sam. Thoughts on Higgins? I think in a contract year where the offense of the Bengals might be a little less dynamic than it was before, I think the production's going to be there, the targets are going to be there. I kind of like him. Thoughts on Raheem Mostert? He'll regress. He won't get as many carries as he did last year. Achan's going to be RB1, but Mostert's still a good own, especially as a backup running back. So what round should I shoot for a quarterback? I like Jay Hurts for some reason. If you want Hurts, you're going to have to draft him in like the 4th round. Way too early for me. I'm waiting until maybe the 7th round to draft a quarterback at the earliest. Personally, I think there are a lot of quarterbacks that I can find that are of value. I'm of the belief at this point where I'm actually willing to wait on quarterbacks, draft 2, play them in tandem, kind of scout the schedule. What 2 quarterbacks are going to get off to really good starts or have really good schedules? Maybe one who's got a really good first half of a year, one who's got a good back half of a year, and kind of pair my team around that. Kevin, thoughts on Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones? I'd rather have Jacobs. Jones, I think, gets hurt by the quarterback situation. Just reasons for me to believe Aaron Jones may be on the back end of the career. Who should I draft in the first round? Adams, what's your position? If I could, Breece Hall would be number 1. I'm very high on Bijan. I'm really high on Amon-Ra St. Brown. But CeeDee Lamb's probably the first overall in many leagues. User 45, rate the 12-man. Gibbs, Najee, Wilson, Kupp, Pickens, Ingram, and Hurts. Solid team overall. I'll give it a B+. I'm not quite there with the running backs. That's what's going to hold it back from being an A-. Josh with the American flag. Kyler, JT, Cook, Tyreek, Garrett, Wilson. I actually really like this team. I really like this team. I give this team an A minus depending on what the bench is and everything else. Speed O. I got third pick in a 12-man. Who should be my first? Brees Hall. Amari Cooper, Scary Terry. Ooh, that got interesting now. I might lean just slightly towards Scary Terry, believe it or not. He may have a breakthrough year with Jaden Daniels, though it's very close between the two. Kamara or Kenneth Walker? I'd probably lean towards Kenneth Walker the third just slightly. Do you like Montgomery as an RB2-3? Yep, yes I do. Brandon Kim, start Najee with no Warren, Waddle, or Malik Neighbors. Start 2. I'm not gonna do week 1 starter sits yet. I want to wait through and see what the injury status is, see everything else before we get there. Thoughts on QB wide receiver stacking? It really depends on what the combo is. There are some that I'll heavily endorse. There are others that I won't. To me, it's dependent on the week. So there are some weeks I love it, but just make sure if you do have those kinds of stacking options that you just have a couple backups in case that's a week in which they play a top-tier defense and you run the risk of getting shut out at 2 prime positions. I'm not as big on stacking in regular fantasy as other people. I love stacking in DFS. I'm not as big on stacking in regular fantasy because if for some reason you just don't have that kind of week. For example, if you've got Patrick Mahomes and you've got Xavier Worthy and it's a week in which Isaiah Pacheco goes off, you're probably losing that week. And that's not your bye week. It almost becomes like a second bye week for those players because they under-delivered. So the value of them over the course of the year slowly comes down. It's just something I'm always aware of. Thoughts on James Cook? Pretty high on him. Actually, think he's got pretty good value. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Hope you're loving the content and the conversation. We are live weekdays at 4:30, everybody. So Monday through Friday, we're live at 4:30 every day. 4:30 on the weekdays. On the weekends, we're going to be live at around 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday mornings. We'll be live earlier on Sundays, but just to give myself a little bit of cushion, we'll be live at around 10:30 on Saturdays and Sundays doing fantasy football talk, sports betting talk, whether it's college football or the NFL. So make sure you follow. Make sure you hit the follow button. That way you never miss our show. Again, that's 4:30 Monday through Friday. Let's say 10:30 on the weekends. Another thing for you guys to know, subscriber-only shows on TikTok at 10 p.m. at night on the weekdays. 10 p.m., let's say, really, it's the weekdays and Saturday. So every day but Sunday, we will probably do a subscriber-only show at 10 p.m. on TikTok. That's where, if you have a question, we're going to answer as many questions as you want. So if you want me to go through each position of your team and fill in who I would start, I will do that. But because that takes time, and we've got to create some kind of exclusivity so I'm actually able to do that, we do subscriber-onlys on TikTok. That's why we do it that way. So if you want that kind of attention, not just for one show, but for the entirety of the fantasy football year, make sure you subscribe on TikTok today. Sonny Gill, DM me on Instagram. Sonny Gill, DM me on Instagram. I'll give you all of my picks for today. Joey, Neighbors, Amari Cooper, Tank Dell, start 2, bench 1 for week 1. Again, I'm not going to be doing starter sit for week 1. I will hold off, but what I will say is, out of that group, Houston's got a good matchup. I like Tank Dell to start. Malik Neighbors has a good matchup. I'd probably start Malik Neighbors and Tank Dell and sit Amari Cooper as of right now, but don't hold me to that. Brandon Kim, Burrow, Brees Hall, Achan, Collins, Neighbors, Goddard, Waddle, Najee. All your wide receivers have a question mark around them for me because they're not a true wide receiver one or they have a quarterback issue. So I'm going to say it's a B+. I like it, Brandon Kim, but it's a B+. Joe Green, is JT, Waddle, and Rice for Harrison Jr., Walker, and Coleman a good trade? I'd rather have JT, Waddle, and Rice. I'd rather have JT, Waddle, and Rice. Who are you grabbing at 3? Overall, user 55, Brees Hall or CeeDee Lamb? Brees Hall or CeeDee Lamb, user 55. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Hope you're loving the content and the conversation. Spencer H. over on Twitch. What if Amon-Ra St. Brown is off the board and it's Chase Jefferson? Should I take Brees or Bijan instead? Brees Hall. Brees Hall. Oh, did we just get another subscriber to another person to join as a subscriber? Who just joined? I missed it. Whoever it was, thank you. Sorry. By the way, something I actually need, I need moderators on TikTok. So if you're a subscriber, you can be a moderator. Rob K, I have first pick PPR. I'm taking Breece Hall. I think that's a good idea. De Bruyne and FC, would you rather have 10th pick or 4th pick in a 10-man league? I'd rather actually have the 4th pick. I understand 10's a good spot for round 1 and 2, but after that, you're still at the end of a round. Round 4, you get a top-tier running back. I think it's a better spot. Tyson, Rate, Burrow, Chase, Waddle, Adams, Gibbs, James Cook, Pitts, and Ridley. I don't love your... I'm going to say it's a B, maybe a B plus at the best. It's close. Mr. Seiju, I have the 5th in a 10-man. Who should I get? 5th in a 10-man, Breece or Bijan. Breece or Bijan is where I'd go. If you're watching over on X right now, thanks so much for watching the show. I know we're new to the platform, but thanks for watching there. Josh with the flag, rate my 8-man, Kyler, JT, Cook, Hill, Garrett Wilson, Trey McBride, Cup, benches, Nico, and Dak. Super strong. I may have mentioned it before. Little overloaded on Arizona. It's a B+, it's an A-, depending on how you feel about overloading on Arizona, but a really strong team. Josh, really like it. Brandon Kim, I have 111. I don't know who to pick. Can you pick 2? JT and Kyron Williams. JT and Kyron Williams, I think, are my 2 right now. Bijan over CMC for a first pick. I'd go Breece Hall over CMC. Bijan, you could, but I think it actually might be a reach. Taking Pacheco at 7 overall, that feels like a reach. Jordan, who's the number 4 pick? CMC, CD, and Hill went Breece Hall. Jordan, Breece Hall, Breece Hall, Breece Hall. Raptor 7, what's your take on Knicks? Would you draft him? I certainly wouldn't draft him. He's impressing a lot of people. That's fine. I have put this in my rules for the year, my commandments for the season. Do not draft a Denver Bronco. If the Denver Broncos turn into this year's Houston Texans, God bless them. Congratulations. I don't want anything to do with them from a fantasy standpoint. Too much risk, not enough return. There are other teams, there are other players and on other squads that are going to be a safer play. I don't want to invest in a Denver Broncos offense that's one giant question mark. Don't want to do it. Who are you picking at 112? Kyron Williams, Jonathan Taylor. If you're looking for a wide receiver, if Amon-Ra St. Brown were to fall, I'd take him. Otherwise, Garrett Wilson. Nick, I have Love, Chase, Harrison Jr., Cook, Williams, Kittle, Bengals defense, and Koo. What do you think? I don't love the Bengals defense, but outside of that, pretty solid team. Really like it. Is that Kyron Williams? If it is, I really like that squad. Spencer H., Kyler, Etienne, Kamara, St. Brown, Kirk, Kelsey, and Swift. Love the team, Spencer H. I'm not crazy about running back room you got there. Little bit of doubt, but overall, I give it a B+, but it's one of those that's like, it's a locked-in B+. It's not close to an A-. It's probably not close to a B. It's a locked-in B+, Spencer H. Kyron, Justin Jefferson, CMC, or Puka? Wow. Great frickin' question. Great question. Wow. Kyron or Justin Jefferson, CMC or Puka? I'm going to say Kyron Williams and Justin Jefferson, and here's why. I think both McCaffrey and Puka will regress. They had such phenomenal years last year that I'm gonna go with Kyron Williams and Jefferson. It is close though. That's a great question. Nick, I have Javonte Williams and Jerome Ford. Who would you start more? I think I'm gonna end up starting probably Javonte Williams more. Bo Nix is 25. He's ready to go this year. By the way, it's one of the reasons I'm like, Bo Nix is 25. Is Lamar Jackson 25? Like, I mean, such a crazy world. Do I give up Garrett Wilson for Pacheco? If you're desperate to improve the running back room, but I really like Garrett Wilson, I would personally probably want even more to give up Wilson. McBride or Andrews? Brandon Kim, I'd go McBride. We've been live for about an hour, everybody. We've been live for about an hour. I hope you guys have enjoyed every single second of it. I'm going to jump off right now. We are going to be live later tonight. So if you want more fantasy football content and conversation, subscribe on TikTok, everybody. Subscribe on TikTok. Subscriber only show at 10 p.m. tonight, everyone. Subscriber only show, 10 p.m. tonight All of your questions get answered. We'll take as much time on there. The subscriber-only shows last as long as we have an audience. So if you're a subscriber and you have literally a dozen questions, I'll answer all of them. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you join us there, okay? If you guys want every bet I made for MLB schedule today, if you want all of my baseball bets, DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram to get every bet I made today for MLB. By the way, all of my NFL Week 1 picks are up there as well, so if you're curious what I'm betting for NFL Week 1, DM me on Instagram. That's Butt Fumble Sports, the name of my company, and my handle on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me there, and I'll send you a link so you can see every bet that I make. A lot of transparency here. I want you guys seeing the research I do, the picks and bets that I make. That way you can decide to follow or fade, but it's up to you. I want to empower you so that you feel like this is a place for entertainment and information, and then you can go do what you want. That said, I'm going to be live at 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight, everybody. Subscriber-only show on TikTok. So hit that subscribe button, join us at 10 p.m., and get your fantasy questions answered then. Until then, I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful night. Shout out to all the loyal butt fumblers who take time out of their day to watch this guy talk sports. Unbelievable. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the baseball action. I'll check you guys out 10 p.m. tonight, everybody. Until then, goodbye, everybody.